Welcome to the mindful temple practice. This can be listened to on your own or with another person or a group. Ideally, as you prepare to enter the temple. Yes, exactly the time when you're usually running around stressed, trying to get things ready so you can get there on time. Much of this, except the end, can be listened to in the car, with the last moments recommended in stillness and silence. Oh, and if you are in the car, with your hands on the steering wheel, keep your attention and eyes exactly where they need to be, ignoring anything else you need to do that well. It's become an inside joke among our people that when you prepare to go to the temple, all of a sudden chaos erupts. Whether you're in the car or not, driving or not, or sitting, standing, and moving, inviting you now to notice the ground underneath you and all the places your body is contacting that surface, the textures, the fabrics, the pressures, and the feel of air around you, different temperatures, depending on how open or exposed your skin is in various parts of the body. Noticing as well what's going on around you, in the home, or outside as you move through the world. Taking it all in and letting it be. Our tendency, of course, is to try and make it different, the way we want it to be. The air feels too cold or too hot. Someone's being too loud or not talking enough. I'm a little hungry or too full from what I just ate. On and on and on. This is about doing something different, not trying to make things different and force things into a different state. Allowing things to be exactly as you find them around you and inside you too. Noticing now what's going on in your heart and mind, emotionally and mentally, feelings and thoughts. You might not like some of what you're noticing there either. Maybe unsettling thoughts are passing through the mind. Lots of things to prepare, challenges that arise. Maybe you notice some feelings of tension or frustration, worry or sorrow, and all the physical sensations that go along with these. But here's the great thing. Whatever erupts, no matter what that is, you can hold it in awareness. Lost wallet, short tempers, whatever. The full pre-temple catastrophe. All a part of the curriculum and part of our temple practice too. Bringing to greater clarity the contrast between what we feel outside and inside the temple. Even here, in the agitation, or whatever else is here, allowing things again to be exactly as you find them. No need to interfere and try to control, manage, or manipulate in any way. John Lennon was right, at least about this. Let it be. So, how is any of this supposed to prepare us for temple worship? Sometimes when we think of the temple, we understandably emphasize the elevation of our usual state to another dimension, in reference to visions, revelations, and some kind of hoped for transcendence. That emphasis is right, given the high and holy work that goes on there, and the sacred experiences we often can have or prepare to have. But whatever it is we are preparing or hoping to have, the starting point is always here. Right here. In this body and this moment, however complex, uncomfortable, and challenging it may be. As with prayer, the more we can be here and know something about what that is, the better prepared we will be to move somewhere else. Speaking, interacting, communing. It's when we are totally distanced from the actual details of our lives, numbed out, pushing away, avoiding, that it becomes super hard to have any sense of what's around us and coming up inside us as well. So, in other words, it's great preparation for temple worship, as for prayer itself, to just be where you are more and really saturate in that enough to know it directly for yourself, including the good, bad, and ugly. If this moment includes something ugly, by the way, an uncomfortable physical sensation, emotion, or thought, cradling that just a little, like you would a crying baby. Don't avoid it. Don't push away. Stay with that broken heart, Pema Chodron says. Offer some compassion and tenderness to it too, even just for a moment. Being here, right here. Instead of going to the temple primarily to get something done, see if you can enter the temple to practice non-doing as well. Something fundamentally different from the checklist that will be waiting right outside the temple for you. Why do we practice mindfulness? Jon Kabat-Zinn says, because we spend the rest of our lives doing the opposite. Meaning, we spend the rest of our lives running around and doing. So our minds and hearts need a chance for something else. Being, rather than just doing. Resting in a deeper place than just the doing mode of mind. As we prepare to enter those hallowed doors, recognizing our well-developed tendency to be somewhere else, despite our sincere desires and hard work to be there, worshiping in the temple. Even when the body is in a certain place, we all know what it's like for our minds to be somewhere else. And we all know how easy it is to arrive at this holy sanctuary and still have our minds all over the place, no matter how still our bodies are. When our minds wander off like this, rather than getting frustrated or being distracted, or just throwing up our hands in resignation, we'd encourage you to see this as a great chance to practice. Practice what? The same thing you've practiced preparing for temple worship. Being here. Right here. When your mind wanders off as you sit there in the temple, you're not doing anything wrong. It's in the nature of the mind to wander, much like the waves of the sea, back and forth. Your job isn't to make that still, like a parent giving the evil eye to a child at church. That works about as well with your own mind as it does with unruly kids. Okay, sometimes it does work. But when you notice your attention wandering, better to gently but firmly bring it back to this moment, to what you're seeing, to what you're experiencing, to what you are feeling in the body, right here. In many ways, recent adjustments to the presentations in the temple make it even easier to be present to what is here for us in this holy house, surrounded by gentle prompts and not overly distracted by dramatized visuals and music. Whether in preparation or in the temple itself, we'd recommend using your body as an anchor, returning your wandering mind to the breath, the physical sensations of breathing, or to feeling your hands in your lap, or the chair underneath, etc. There's a powerful and beautiful physicality to everything we do in the temple. Indeed, it's the fact we inhabit a tabernacle or temple for our own spirits that qualifies us, in part, to participate in proxy temple work. Whatever other role our departed loved ones might play in holy temples, it's not with a physical body performing the ordinances. That's what we do because of having a body. However imperfect, we present these bodies as a living sacrifice before our God and apply them in work as He directs. Noticing as you go through the ordinances how clearly not secondary the body is to everything we're doing, right from the very beginning of the ordinances. Meditators are familiar with a classic mindfulness practice called the body scan, where participants move through different parts of the body from head to feet, pausing at each part of the body to name it and acknowledge for a moment whatever physical sensations we might be feeling. Does that sound familiar? Next time you participate in the initiatory ordinance, see if you can allow yourself to better rest your attention on physical sensation throughout the body. Hands on heads, white clothing on bodies, holy vestments and symbols to remind us of higher truths, all further physical touch points, and not dissimilar to the grounding that can come from yoga. There will always be gentle, rhythmic, guided movement throughout ordinances. As that happens, rather than just zoning out, let yourself appreciate the changing physical sensations throughout the moving body. And yes, any thoughts and emotions coming up too, without trying to fix, force, or control, including when the mind wanders, escorting your mind gently back to the right place, just like others escort you throughout the temple, over and over, again and again. Letting your breath ground you whenever you are especially distracted. The rise and the fall. The in and the out. Feeling your breath right now and letting your eyes close if you can. Adjusting your posture as you might do during an ordinance, moving back your shoulders to embody wakefulness and dignity. Falling awake, not falling asleep. Being here, right here, where you are, ready to see, hear, and know whatever else God has in store for you. Ready to commune with the one who describes himself as the great I am. Not the great I was or will be. You'll be ready. Good luck. Have a great session.